The teasers dropped, the fandom went silent. And then, I mean, in an instant, the entire K-pop world was turned upside down.
Yeah.
BTS Jungkook addresses dating rumors. Shocking live stream confession.
Right. Picture this. You're lying in bed. It's like 3:00 a.m. Korean Standard Time. The room is pitch black.
Yeah, and suddenly your smartphone screen just lights up the dark. A Weverse notification pops up, and in one click, everything you thought you knew about that invisible wall between a global idol and a fan is entirely up for debate.
It really is.
Welcome to StarScope K-Report. Join Eric and Minji as they ride the Hallyu Wave, uncovering the biggest K-pop comebacks, shocking industry controversies, and major K-drama updates. From internet-breaking rumors to historic chart milestones, we dive deep into the world of Korean entertainment.
And honestly, there is no wave quite as turbulent as the one we are riding today. Our mission in this deep dive is to unpack the Golden Matinee recent, intensely unfiltered late-night live stream.
Oh, they were so unfiltered.
Exactly. We are going to systematically break down the 15 debunked rumors surrounding him and aespa's Winter. And most importantly, we're going to explore the psychological grip of parasocial relationships within the fandom.
Because what looks like a simple, late-night karaoke session is actually a masterclass in modern digital psychology.
Spot on. We have to start at the epicenter of this earthquake, February 26, 2026.
The entire industry was literally holding its breath for BTS's massive ARIRANG comeback.
Slated for March 20th.
Right. The fandom is highly mobilized. Streaming strategies are completely locked in. Fan bases are coordinating across time zones. And the singular goal is a historic all-kill.
Sweeping every single domestic music chart simultaneously so there's not a single spot left for anyone else.
The pressure is astronomical. And what does Jungkook do with that pressure? At 3 a.m., he flips on his camera. He's just at home hanging out with his brother and some friends.
He's drinking beer. Singing karaoke.
It is so raw and unpolished. He even casually mentions that he recently quit smoking because he wants to preserve his vocals for the upcoming performances.
The contrast is what makes that moment so striking, You have this multi-million-dollar, highly choreographed corporate machine gearing up for a global release.
Yeah.
And the focal point of that machine is sitting in his living room, burping, and talking about his lifestyle habits. But he went far beyond just casual updates.
He really did. He started opening up about profound internal frustrations.
He spoke candidly about how much his personality has shifted over the years and how the grueling preparation process for this comeback was forcing him into this state of heavy self-reflection.
Which was so hard to hear. He actually admitted to feeling restricted by the agency, saying that if it were not for the company, he would have, quote, said everything he was thinking.
Though he did immediately pivot to defend HYBE, emphasizing that they stay neutral and have always protected him.
Right, asking fans not to direct their anger at the label. Okay, let's unpack this because that is such a delicate tightrope to walk.
It really is.
It feels like a friend FaceTiming you from a diner at 3 a.m. It feels incredibly intimate. But is this radical honesty a new trend in K-pop? Or is it a breaking point for idols?
Well, let's fast forward to his post-Madrid concert live stream on June 28th, because that is where the tightrope snaps.
Oh, Madrid, yeah. He had just finished day 2 of a massive stadium show. He's exhausted, the heat was brutal, and the live comment section is just a relentless waterfall of the classic "Marry Me Jungkook" comments.
And instead of laughing it off or doing the standard idol fan service smile, he just shuts it down.
Flat out. He tells the camera, "I have no plans for marriage yet. Stop talking about it. Ask Yoongi to marry you."
I mean, that was wild. And then it got even more serious. Fans in the chat started commanding him to go to sleep.
You push back hard. He stated firmly, "I'll sleep when I decide to."
Which is such a boundary to set.
He confessed that he actually struggles with severe insomnia, that he relies on medication to get any rest, and that staring at the ceiling until 2 a.m. is just his daily reality.
What's fascinating here is the underlying mechanism of why fans feel so comfortable issuing commands to a global superstar in the first place.
Right. Why do they feel they have that right?
There's a brilliant academic study from the Young Researcher by Lucy Huang that analyzes the cognitive effects of parasocial relationships in K-pop fans.
I read this. It breaks down how we bond with media personas.
Exactly. And it highlights a specific phase called the intensification stage. The K-pop industry intentionally uses the UI and UX design of apps like Weverse and Bubble to trigger this stage.
Oh, because the interface doesn't look like a traditional public forum.
Right. It is designed to look exactly like your private iMessage or Kakao Talk screens. When you get a push notification, it mimics a text from a friend.
Okay, that makes so much sense. It is bypassing the logical part of your brain that knows he's broadcasting to millions, and it's hitting the emotional center that says, someone I care about just texted me.
Precisely. It acts like a slot machine that dispenses affection instead of coins. The industry engineers these platforms to create a powerful illusion of mutual awareness.
So when a fan types "go to sleep," their brain genuinely believes they are expressing care to a close confidant.
Yeah. And when Jungkook sets a firm, blunt boundary in response, it feels deeply jarring to those fans.
Because the app's architecture has tricked their neural pathways into feeling a sense of ownership and intimacy that does not actually exist in reality.
They are weaponizing intimacy at scale.
That is just incredible. But, as shocking as his pushback was, that's not even the wildest part of this comeback story. Wait until you hear who netizens think was on the other end of his phone, smiling back at him.
Oh, this part is crazy.
If you love staying updated on your bias, make sure you're subscribed to StarScope K-Report. We got even bigger scoops ahead.
So during that exact same 4-hour boundary-setting live stream on June 28th, there was a specific moment that acted as the inciting incident for a massive controversy.
Right. Jungkook was seen looking down at his phone, texting someone, and a massive, genuine smile broke across his face.
And the timeline erupted. The fandom instantly fractured into two very aggressive, very loud camps.
First, you have the Taekook shippers. They immediately circulated clips pointing out that earlier in the stream, he was watching V's Paris Fashion Week fan cams.
Right. He was humming V's parts of their songs and talking affectionately about how much V loves high fashion. They were entirely convinced Taehyung was the one texting him.
But out of nowhere, the other camp emerged. And the rumors linking him to aespa's Winter completely took over the search algorithms.
This is where we need to peel back the layers of how digital misinformation spreads, because a massive wave of fabricated evidence went viral.
There was a recent comprehensive breakdown that systematically dismantled 15 distinct rumors linking the two of them.
15. We need to walk through the most prominent ones because the lengths people went to in order to connect these dots is staggering. Let's start with the visual evidence, the tattoos and the clothing.
Oh my gosh, the puppy tattoos. This was everywhere. People found these incredibly blurry, hyper-zoomed photos and claimed they both had matching dog face tattoos on the backs of their arms.
But if you actually look at the source images without the red circles drawn all over them, they're just pixelated shadows.
Literally, your brain is just filling in the blanks. And the clothing rumors were just as flimsy.
Netizens were up in arms because Winter was photographed wearing the same oversized shorts and slippers that Jungkook favors.
But the brand they were referencing is a massively popular unisex streetwear brand worn by half the industry.
Exactly.
Winter has stated in multiple interviews that she loves being called handsome by fans and feels the most comfortable and confident in oversized, masculine tailoring. That is just her personal aesthetic.
Sharing a fashion aesthetic with a male idol is not a smoking gun for a secret, underground romance. It is a textbook example of confirmation bias.
Fans start with the conclusion that they are dating, and then work backward, twisting any mundane detail to fit that narrative.
We saw the exact same psychological phenomenon with the blue nails rumor. A viral post claimed their nail polish was a secret coded couple signal.
The reality: Winter had painted her nails blue in direct support of the Polished Man campaign, which is an international movement raising awareness against violence towards women and children.
Right, it was a philanthropic statement. Jungkook, on the other hand, had his nails painted light blue with specific black detailing for a Calvin Klein promotional shoot.
And he changed the color to red less than a week later. Two entirely unrelated contexts smashed together by an algorithm designed to prioritize outrage.
And speaking of smashing things together, the schedule conspiracies were the most exhausting to watch unfold. The biggest quote-unquote proof netizens had was the May 24, 2025 Japan trip.
Oh, this one. They both happened to be at Gimpo Airport flying to Japan on the same day, so suddenly the narrative was that they were sneaking off on a romantic getaway.
But if you spend 3 seconds looking at their official schedules, aespa was flying out for My Drama, a highly publicized official fan meeting.
They were surrounded by their managers, stylists, and security. Jungkook was flying out for his final documented military leave before his official discharge.
They were on completely separate flights for completely separate publicly known reasons. The logical leaps did not stop there, though.
Nope. We saw viral threads claiming they were sharing the exact same custom earpieces.
Anyone who works in audio engineering knows those are just standard, high-fidelity in-ear monitors. They are the industry standard.
Right. Half the artists performing on music shows wear that exact model. And then there was the bodyguard video.
A clip gained millions of views claiming Jungkook dispatched his own personal security detail to protect Winter at an event.
A simple facial recognition check proved it was two entirely different men, employed by two entirely different security firms. Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. I have to ask the obvious question.
Go for it.
Every single one of these rumors is so easily debunkable. It takes 5 minutes of basic fact-checking to disprove the tattoos, the flights, the bodyguards.
Right.
Yet back in December 2025, when these rumors first hit critical mass, the mega agencies did basically nothing. Big Hit Music issued a generic, "We are checking on the matter," and SM Entertainment just said, "We have no statement at this time."
Yeah, that silence was deafening.
If SM was able to issue a lightning-fast hard denial when NHY Pin's Youngwon was falsely linked to Winter in 2024, why are they suddenly paralyzed now?
That's a great point.
By staying silent, aren't they just throwing gasoline on the fire and validating the netizens' obsession? Especially when RM had to literally go on a live stream and beg the public to respect his members' boundaries.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it's a vital question. And the answer is rooted in a very calculated, very dark corporate strategy.
Okay, tell me.
If we look back at the Young researcher study regarding the cognitive impact of parasocial bonds, we see what happens when a fan's perceived relationship is threatened by a dating rumor.
It triggers severe cognitive dissonance.
Exactly. The fan reacts in one of two ways. Fierce defensiveness, where they fight tooth and nail to disprove the rumor, or total hateful detachment.
And the agencies know this.
The agencies understand this psychological loop perfectly. Often they calculate that a vague non-statement is actually more profitable than the truth.
Because it keeps the engagement metrics soaring.
Yes. It keeps the fandom trending their names, writing articles, and generating free visibility. But in this specific case, there is a much darker, much more manipulative theory regarding the exact timing of that silence.
Wait, you are talking about the cover-up theory?
Yes. If you look at the digital footprint of the original matching tattoo rumor, it did not organically trend over a few weeks. It exploded artificially on December 4th, 2025.
And what else happened on December 4th?
On that exact same day, a massive, highly damaging investigative article was published regarding HYBE's chairman, Bang Si-hook. Literally within hours of that article dropping, a coordinated flood of newly created accounts began pushing these fake edits and tattoo theories about Jungkook and Winter onto the timeline.
So it was a digital smokescreen.
Exactly. It operates like a magician's misdirection. If you want to hide a corporate scandal, you need a distraction with a significantly higher search velocity.
And Jungkook Winter dating has enough algorithmic power to completely bury HYBE chairman scandal on Twitter trends and Naver search rankings.
It has all the hallmarks of a fabricated, weaponized scandal. They utilize the fandom's deepest parasocial anxieties to manipulate the algorithm and protect the boardroom.
That is genuinely chilling. They know exactly how deeply these fans care, and they use that devotion as a shield for corporate misbehavior.
And this obsession with control does not just stop at who an idol is allowed to date or what trends on Naver.
No, it dictates every single aspect of their existence, right down to their bone structure.
Yeah.
Later in this deep dive, we'll talk about the shocking plot twist regarding K-pop visuals that nobody saw coming and why it's tearing a fandom apart.
The intensity of this industry scrutiny is just relentless. When the rumors fail to break an idol, the focus shifts immediately to their physical appearance.
Which brings us to the recent brutal backlash against aespa's Winter. It has been so difficult to witness.
We really have to look at how this manufactured perfection warps reality.
Winter was recently the featured visual for a high-fashion photo shoot in Korea. It should have been a celebratory career milestone.
Instead, K-nets absolutely tore her apart.
A colorized, highly scrutinized photo went viral, and netizens launched a campaign accusing her of extreme, excessive plastic surgery. They claimed her face was entirely unrecognizable.
People were in the comments cruelly comparing her jawline to a bicycle seat.
The rhetoric was just vicious. You had thousands of likes on comments saying, "Why does SM hate round faces?" and "Where did the rest of her jaw go?" So what does this all mean?
This raises an important question about behavioral impacts. This extreme, hyper-fixated policing of an idol's face is a direct, measurable symptom of the toxic ecosystem outlined in the Young researcher study.
The data in that paper is staggering, isn't it?
It found that 52% of adolescent fans spend over 2 hours every single day consuming idol content. Think about the neurological impact of that.
When your brain is exposed to that sheer volume of heavily curated, filtered, and often surgically altered perfection for 2 hours a day, your baseline perception of human reality fundamentally warps.
The industry's pursuit of a flawless aesthetic elevates the fans' own physical standards, which inevitably leads to massive, crippling appearance insecurities among the audience.
It's like living on a diet of pure, chemically engineered sugar, and then being furious when you are handed a real apple because it has a slight bruise.
That's a perfect way to put it.
As a fan, it is infuriating to watch people tear down a young woman so heartlessly. On one side of the dynamic, the idol is trapped. They are pressured to carve away their own humanity, sometimes literally, to project this impossible standard of a perfect visual.
And on the other side, the fan is consuming that image for hours, conditioned to feel permanently inadequate because their real human face will never match that heavily edited reflection.
And this raises a profound question about how we cope with that inadequacy.
Right. The study highlights a psychological behavioral response called assimilation.
Fans, driven by the intensity of that parasocial bond and the weight of their own insecurities, actually begin to lose their authentic selves to assimilate with their bias.
It is like a hermit crab taking on a shell that does not belong to them until they forget what they looked like without it.
They start buying the specific oversized shirts their idols wear to the airport. They force themselves to adopt their bias's music tastes. They copy their specific vocal inflections and mannerisms.
I want to pause right here and speak directly to you, the listener. Think about your own habits for a second. Look at your own closet.
Yeah. How many items of clothing did you buy simply because you saw your bias wearing them in a dance practice video? Look at your Spotify history.
Are you listening to those tracks because you genuinely love the melody or because streaming it makes you feel closer to them?
It is a vital self-audit to perform. The study points out that fans often use the K-pop fantasy as a form of extreme escapism.
Right, to avoid their own real-world social anxieties or to numb the pressure of academic and professional stress.
The relationship shifts. It stops being about enjoying the artistry of the music, and it becomes a load-bearing pillar for their own identity formation.
It is a critical moment to evaluate your own media consumption. Are you engaging with the comeback because it brings you joy, or are you relying on this parasocial connection to escape the reality of your own life?
It is a heavy realization to sit with. We all start out in the exact same place. We just want to learn the fan chants, buy a light stick, and support a comeback.
And suddenly, years later, we find ourselves altering our own core personalities or tearing apart an idol's jawline on a forum at 4 a.m.
Because the lines between our actual reality and the Hallyu Wave have completely disintegrated.
And that disintegration is not an accident. It is entirely by design. The agencies, the app developers, the marketing teams, it is all brilliantly engineered to make you feel like you are an irreplaceable part of their inner circle.
They sell you the illusion of proximity, which makes the inevitable reality check, the moment the illusion shatters, so much more painful and destructive for everyone involved.
It truly does.
Which brings us to something I want you to genuinely think about, long after this deep dive ends. If these parasocial relationships are explicitly designed and monetized by mega agencies to mimic the feeling of real intimacy.
What happens when the idol finally takes off the mask?
Exactly. When the mandatory hiatus hits, or the dating news is finally confirmed with undeniable proof and the carefully constructed fantasy breaks. Are fans actually in love with the human being behind the microphone, or are they just hopelessly addicted to the flawless persona the industry manufactured for them?
That is the ultimate test of a fandom, and it is a question every single fan will eventually have to answer for themselves.
Hit that subscribe button so you never miss a KT update. You've been listening to StarScope K-Report, where Eric and Minji bring you the stories shaping K-pop, K-dramas, and the global Hallyu Wave. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.